Before we start off with today's video, if you guys would like to join the Discord server, link will be in the description below and it will also be in that pinned comment. If it has been more than 7 days, please use the latest video as that's when all the links will be working. And of course, I would love to have you on this channel as well, so make sure to subscribe with that bell on so you don't miss any of the videos, community section posts and shorts. But anyway, other than that, let's get right into today's video. Alright guys, just a small quick announcement. I have launched another channel called Denayan Short Stuff, and basically it is a comedy channel in series and episodes, and so far we are on series 1 still, but we're on episode 8, and I also do YouTube shorts as well, which is behind the scenes. Now if you'd like to join in on the fun, help me out, help this channel out and make it grow, then make sure to subscribe with that bell on, link will be in the description, and also like the videos and share them on, view, etc. And if you do all of that, I would be absolutely grateful to you guys for doing that. So a big thank you if you do, and if you don't, then you don't get a thank you. But anyway, on with the review. So this is the Hyundai Veloster. Now this is the Mark 1 version because this is the only version we got in the UK, because the Mark 2 didn't make it over here, either for emission things or how much they sold. Obviously it wasn't enough, or it could be both. Either way. So this is a coupe of sorts, but it's got a weird door situation going on, which I'll explain in a minute. But yeah, basically that's really all there is to it. So we'll just get right into it. Okay, so the front. So this version here, I do like it. Just one thing, I feel like where they've put the number plate sort of area, that doesn't look right. But other than that, you know, the badge, the silver chrome around it, the light design, and you know, the grille design, they all work, and I don't have a problem with that at all. Now there was another version which I'll explain in a bit, but that one had this grille. Now this looks much better. I think the, you know, just the bigger mouth just looks a lot better than this, and the number plate just literally just sits right there without needing a separate plinth that you have to draw or add on when you're designing the car. And I definitely prefer this, but I do like both. I'm not saying the other one is bad, it's just not as good as this one. Now the side profile, now there's two things to this. So this one, as you can see, it's just one door on the side, and frankly it's a nice sleek design, you know, very simple, but you know, curvy as well, and it looks, you know, sleekish, aerodynamic-ish. I don't know how aerodynamic it is, but you get the point, and it looks really good. However, on the other side there's two doors. So like the Mini Clubman, the original one, it had two doors on one side and one door on the other. However, Hyundai actually bothered and was willing to spend the money to actually swap the doors for, you know, right hand drive cars, because obviously we drive on the left, so the two doors need to be on the left. But if you're on the right hand side of the road, then obviously the two doors need to be on the other side. However, the Mini, they were always on that side, even in right hand drive cars, so practically they were useless. But Hyundai actually bothered, so thank God for that. We don't have another Mini Clubman situation here. But this also works same as the other side. I really like it as well, because obviously it doesn't have the traditional door handle. It does look a lot sleeker, although I do prefer to have a door handle that's normal than to have it look sleek, because I don't like up here. This is not necessary, it's just enough. The rear, so you got the two, you know, exhaust pipes, if you want to call it that, tips, not even that, just surrounds I guess you can call it. And then you obviously got a sleek boot the way it comes down, although there is like a spoiler in the middle of it, which, you know, does probably most likely impair the view when you're looking out. But it's, you know, a cool looking design, and better than Hyundai's, you know, normal cars, like, you know, like the Accent and stuff like that. But yeah, I do like this. Let's be fair about this. And then this one, so you got actual, the pipes are separated sort of, with the other one it's just a slit I'm struggling to speak. Oh my god. It was just a slit there. There was two there. Probably still surrounds though. The exhausts are probably just still hidden in. The exhausts are probably still within them somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the fog light area, you know, left and right, that's slightly different. You know, the shape is completely different actually if you look. One's a rectangle-ish, one's a circle. And everything else is the same besides the number plate area. That's also different and it also looks more aggressive. So I like the car as a whole. I think this other version is better than the other version, if you get what I'm saying. The interior, so it's nice and simple. So obviously you got infotainment screen and you got climate control buttons, and pretty much that's simple enough. And it's a decent height as well, so you don't have to go looking down to try and find anything. Overall it is, you know, it's a nice looking interior overall. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying at this point anyway. Now on the big mouthed grey version, it did look like this. So obviously the silver bits have now been changed to grey, and this one has heated seats, so obviously you got that there. So when it comes to the performance, so there were two engines. So the first one was a 1.6 litre inline 4-cylinder, and it was naturally aspirated. So it had give or take 140 horsepower, but 123 pound-feet of torque. It was front wheel drive. You can get a 6-speed manual which weighs 1,236 kilograms, or you can get a 6-speed DCT automatic gearbox which weighs 1,279 kilograms. 0 to 60 for the manual is 9.4, and for the automatic it is 10 seconds. Top speed, they're pretty much both the same, 125 and 124. Now the next version is known as the Turbo. So when I was saying about the big mouthed grille version, I wanted to save the name till this section here. So it is known as the Turbo version. So you know, the grey plastics that aren't silver anymore, you know, the back bumper and the lights and the front grille, it's all this Turbo version. Now in some places it may be known as a facelift, but I don't think it was known as a facelift here. I don't actually know. I just know it as the Hyundai Veloster Turbo. 1.6 litre inline 4-cylinder, same as the other one, but a turbo. 184 horsepower. Now in America, I believe you actually got 200 horsepower with this. So they dropped it for some reason. Emissions probably, I don't know. But both America and here have the same 195 pound-feet of torque. Front wheel drive as usual. So weight was 1313 kilograms, and gearbox was a 6-speed manual. Now as far as I'm aware, there may have been an automatic, just not for the UK market. So if there was one, then you can add it to yourself basically. 0 to 60 was 8.1 seconds, and top speed was 133 miles an hour. So definitely faster than this naturally aspirated equivalent brother. When it comes to the practicality, so the boot was 320 litres big. That wasn't too bad for this class of car really. So you know, props to Hyundai for that, or Hyundai. So you know, it was wide enough, probably just, and you could just put stuff in. And I think it was slightly bigger than a Scirocco, but smaller than a GTC Astra, I think. So there you go. Rear seats on the other hand, so headroom was not great for 6-footers and anyone over that. Leg room is a slightly different story. So it was good enough to take someone who was quite tall on a small journey, and they would be relatively comfortable, but overall it was still, you know, tight in there, considering what kind of car this is. That is to be expected, because you know, obviously there are coupes like this that might have slightly more room in the back, but overall this car here is not the most practical in the back, although legroom can be bearable to a certain extent. When it comes to the handling and the comfort, so handling was actually pretty decent, so went through the corners particularly fine. It had good enough grip, and body roll was minimal as well, and you know, that could be quite fun. However, the steering, well, what I've read anyway in reviews, is that the steering is somewhat numb, so that's not particularly great. But overall it was, you know, a pleasant car to drive. just the numbness might put you off slightly, or it might be disappointed in it. The ride comfort was a little bit harsh, which is a shame, but it wasn't harsh. It was just, you know, you were trying to be sporty harsh sort of scenario basically. So what I'm effectively trying to say is that yes, it's harsh, but it's not uncomfortable. You know, like I say many times before, it's not like you're James May in a Lamborghini or Ferrari trying to say that, oh, they ruined the suspension on my back. You know, it's not like that, but it's noticeable. The turbo version I read in a review actually said that the ride comfort was improved. Although they did say Turbo SE, and I think there was the Turbo and Turbo SE. I think there was 2 trims for the Turbo, but either way, you know, Turbo would be a little bit more comfortable, but you know, certain bumps and cracks, you know, you would feel it in both versions, variants, whatever you want to call it, of this car. Is there anything else worth noting? No, there isn't. So we'll move on. So what is the verdict? So the pros are, the exterior is nice, it has a nice interior layout, the boot space was decent in terms of size, and the handling was also not too bad as well. However, the rear seat space, but that is to be expected, and also it's not the worst because legroom was somewhat bearable for some people for a certain amount of time. The ride was slightly harsh. I say slightly because it was slightly, it wasn't unbearable, and like I say, it's not a Ferrari. And also the numb steering, I put that in brackets because that may put some people off but not everyone off. So really it's just depending on your preferences, and if you take the car out for a test drive, what you think. If you think it's numb, or if you think it is numb but it bothers you or not, it's really completely up to you. But anyway, that does conclude my review of the Hyundai Veloster, or should I say Hyundai Velociraptor. If you want me to review a car, you can let me know in the comments below, and also in the Discord server, because there is a section where you can talk about my YouTube channels, because I've got plenty of them. And speaking of that, please don't forget about the Short Stuff channel. If you do pretty much the list I gave you, then once again, you know, a massive thank you, and I will be absolutely grateful of you doing so. So a big thank you if you do. But anyway, I'll see you guys in next week's video, and yeah, I'll see you then. Peace. Spin. Almost a 360. But never mind.